The books that changed my life. In my last video, I discussed the impact that Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert T. Kiyosaki had on my life. And for me, reading that book was like the great awakening. I could suddenly see, I could understand so many things that I did not understand before. And for me, the main take from that book was not working hard for money. So if you're out there and you're working long hours, you're working in a very stressful job, probably under unmanageable pressures, and you're still not able to make a difference, and probably still not able to make enough money to be able to comfortably pay your bills, I would say that is you working hard for money, and it's time for you to reclaim control over your life, just like I am in the process of doing. And how am I doing that? I'm reading books. I've started on a journey of personal development and mindset. So I would like you to come along with me. Let's learn, grow, and change together. Hello, my name is Trudy, and I am a director at True Wealth, and we invest in property. Like I said in my last video, I discussed the impact that these 6 books that I ever read did on my life. And in today's video, I am going to be discussing the impact of one of the books, that is The Compound Effect. And it's a book by Darren Hardy. And this is another amazing book. And I would highly, highly recommend this to everybody who wants to improve their life. And for me, in so many ways, I feel like my life was orchestrated when I read these books, because each one of them is just exactly what I needed in my life at that time. And I couldn't, I can't even explain the impact that they had on my life, but I'll try. So, in today's video, I'm just going to concentrate on the compound effect and the learning highlights for me from that book. So, basically, this book talks about developing habits and disciplines that will support you in your success, and then maintaining those disciplines and those habits on a consistent level. It sort of talks about the fact that actually success does not just happen, and it is as a result of the compound effects of those things that we do on a day-to-day basis that lead us to success. So it's also not about what strategy you learn, or what tactics you've got, or how talented you are, or even how fast you can go. Is actually about the discipline and the consistency, and that's what gives you the success. That's what leads you to success. It's not about the strategy. You could have all the strategies in the world, but if you don't have the discipline to then take the action and be consistent, then you will not be successful. The other thing that the book talks about is choices, and the choices we make in life really, really matter. So, my life, your life, and everybody's life is basically as a result of the choices that we make. So, who do you hang around with? What do you do with your spare time? What kind of books do you read? So all those choices that we make lead us to success, or they stop us from being successful. And I think in this book, one of the examples that really stood out for me was the example that Darren used of a gentleman who has got a job, and when he finishes work, he goes back home, he sits down on the sofa, and then he has a takeaway. And he's doing that obviously on a consistent basis, but he's not realizing the impact that is having on his life. So he's obviously sitting on the sofa, he's not eating good food, and because he's not eating good food, he becomes obviously overweight. He's got an unhealthy weight, and then because he's overweight, he then gets health issues. He gets diabetes and all those other health issues that are related to being overweight. And because he's not doing what he's supposed to do, then he's not performing well at work. He's losing his confidence because he's overweight. And when he loses his confidence, that is impacting more on his ability to meet the key performance indicators at work. And he just continues in that cycle of poor choices. And obviously, because he's lost his confidence, he's a bit overweight. He's not happy with himself. His wife is not happy with how he's looking. She starts to go out and to go out socializing, and then when she does that, he then thinks that, oh, she must be cheating on me, when actually that's not what is happening. So they then start to fight. So from the fighting, then they're not happy, and he's then not happy at work, and the change just continues. And obviously, eventually, what happens? Work lets him go because he's not performing well, and when they let him go, his marriage does not survive, so he gets a divorce. And I think what struck me was the fact that actually that did not just suddenly happen. You know, the end result of his life did not just suddenly happen. It's the choices that he was making on a day-to-day basis. It's the things that he was doing, and they compounded. It's almost like they were all interlinked. So yeah, I suppose we just have to be careful of the choices that we make on a day-to-day basis, and just being aware that in life, it's those little things that come back to bite us, those little things that you think you're getting away with, but then over time, when they compound, they come back and they bite you. So just be mindful of the choices that you're making in your life. The other take for me from the book was the habits. What habits have you got? Who have you got to become in order to be that successful person, in order to attain your goals? What have you got to replace? What bad habits have you got to replace with good habits? So again, just think about those things. Sitting on the sofa, that's a bad habit. When you finished work and watching TV all evening through the late nights, those are poor choices, and those are bad habits. So you need to develop good habits. And I suppose for me, what I took from this book was the fact that when you start to develop those good habits, do them one at a time. So don't try and do all these good things, all these good habits in one go. You will be overwhelmed, and then you won't follow through. So for each bad habit you've got, replace it with one good habit, one at a time. And then eventually you'll just find that those disciplines are just part of your life. They're just part of what you do, and you don't have to even think about it. Yes. So the other tech for me from the book was gaining momentum. And let's face it, it's actually not easy to gain momentum. It takes a while, but once you've gained that momentum, it then becomes easy. You don't need as much effort as what you needed when you first started out. So, and I suppose the other thing is, in life, it's not about quick fixes. I know we sometimes like quick fixes. We live in a world where we have instant coffee, things just happen. But proper success, true success does not just happen. It takes hard work. It takes developing good habits. It takes making the right decisions every day. It takes developing good behaviors, being disciplined, working hard, and and then consistently maintaining that in the long run. And then that's what produces success. In terms of gaining momentum, I remember when I first started on the journey of mindset, and I never used to have a morning routine. I would literally just wake up, run in the shower, do things really, really fast. I was just running all over the place, throwing the kids in the car. And I realized that that's not the way to live. So when I started to develop my morning routine, I initially struggled. I really struggled. I struggled, but I had to keep in there, and I had to keep going, and until my body got used to it. So now when I wake up, I wake up automatically, and I meditate, I stretch, I do what I need to do in the morning, I read, and I just set myself for the day. And that is a good discipline to have, that is a good routine to have. So if you're out there and you're thinking, oh, how do I do that? Just do it. Keep going, don't give up, and then you gain momentum that way. And in the book, actually, Darren refers to gaining momentum as the big more. And when I read that, it actually reminded me of Mo Farah, the athlete. And as you all know, Mo has competed in the Olympics and he's won gold medals. But he actually did not just wake up one day and say, "Oh, I'm going to run the London Marathon. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to compete in the Olympics." He didn't do that. He had to train himself. I can imagine he had to get a trainer, he had to get a coach, he had to get a mentor, he had to eat certain foods, he had to do things in a certain way over a long time for him to gain that momentum and for him to have that discipline. And once you gain the momentum, you don't need as much, and you don't need as much effort. It's just a little push, and you just keep going. So, I'm thinking, what a perfect example of the compound effect. What a perfect example of life not being about quick fixes. You have to work hard for it. And like you all know, Mo Farah is such a successful athlete. We hear of the gold medals that he's won, but they didn't just happen. He had to put in the work, he had to put in the mileage, he had to wake up very early in the morning, and he had to do what it takes. So be mindful. Don't be fooled. Success does not just happen. It does not just happen. And if that's your thinking, then you are wrong. And the other thing that the book talks about is influences. What's your environment? What is it you do? Who is around you? Who is influencing you? Who is talking to you? You know, who are the five people that you spend your time with mostly? What is it they do? Because if you look carefully, you'll be exactly like those people around you. There is a saying that says birds of the same feathers flock together. So, just be mindful you're exactly as the people you spend most of your time with. The other thing as well with influences, our lives, my life, your life, tends to organize itself around the standards that you set for yourself. So if you tolerate being disrespected, then that's what's going to happen. If you tolerate working hard until you drop, then that's what's going to happen. But as for me, I choose and I refuse to work through life, working so hard for money. And that's why I'm on this journey. That's why I am learning. That's why I'm growing. And that's why I'm sharing my journey with you, because I am testing things out and I'm trying to see what is working, and what works, I share with you. So, let's have the right influences around ourselves. Let's surround ourselves with people of like minds and people who are going to push us forward, instead of surrounding ourselves with people who are actually not doing anything for us. The book also talks about acceleration. And what does that exactly mean? I think it means going the extra mile, doing things better than expected, and doing the unexpected as well. And I also think it means, doing things outside of your comfort zone. Again, you will have heard it being said that, magic happens outside the comfort zone, and that is so, so true. If you're going to live a successful life, if you're going to succeed at anything, any business, or anything you set yourself to do, you're going to have to do things outside of your comfort zone, and you have to step out of your comfort zone. Do those things that don't feel right, that don't feel easy, that feel hard, and then you will achieve the success. So, what's the next steps really in terms of, how do you move forward? If you're not already doing so, I would highly, highly recommend and encourage you to start listening to Audible, because when you do that, you'll be hitting two birds with one stone. You could be cooking in the car, or exercising, or doing your gardening, and you're still feeding your mind, and obviously you're learning, and the things you're learning, you can then take action on those things. So, listening to Audible books, I personally use Audible, but I also read, so I do both at the same time. So it's whatever works for you. But I think Audible is amazing because you don't have to find the time. You can just do it while you're doing other things. So I will just summarize the main points from today's video. So yes, it's the compound effect. And the compound effect is about choices, it's about habits, it's about momentum, it's about acceleration, and it's about influences. So I just want to thank you all for tuning in today. Thank you for watching my video. Please like, share, subscribe, and I will be back again to talk more about the books that changed my life. And in my next video, I'll cover this book here, The Magic of Thinking Big. What an amazing book. So please watch out, and thank you everybody for tuning in today. Let's continue to learn, grow, and change together. I'll see you all again soon. Thank you. Thank you very much.